some countries with capital punishment, there exists an interesting custom for criminals on death row, one special meal called the last meal. Convicted felons are granted the opportunity to select any food and drink of their choice, with certain regulations on the eve of their execution. The regulations on the meal vary from continent to continent, country to country, and even from state to state. In the United States, alcohol and cigarettes are usually not permitted. In Florida, the last meal can't be over $40. In Oklahoma, $15 is the limit. And in Louisiana, the prison director joins the convict for the last meal. There have been prisoners who have requested meals that are interesting enough to take a look at. Today we will see the top 5 strangest ever death row meal requests. We are starting the list with David Leon Woods at number 5. David Leon Woods spent 22 years on death row before being executed by lethal injection in Indiana on 4th of May 2007. Prior to his arrest and conviction, Woods and his 2 friends went to the home of Juan Plasencia, intending to steal his television. They rang the doorbell of Plasencia's apartment, and when the man opened the door, Woods started stabbing him. They stole the TV and left the man to die. But it was Woods who called the police the very next morning, claiming that he found the victim's body when he wanted to use his phone. While Woods was questioned by the police, his mother arrived and said that she thought her son was responsible for the murder. The police searched their house and found a blood-stained towel and a knife sheath. Woods was then taken to the police station where he broke down and confessed everything. 22 years later, David Woods was granted a last meal before his execution. He chose to have a pizza and birthday cake with his family. He wasn't executed on his birthday, but perhaps he just wanted to celebrate one last time. His final words were, "I want Juan's family to know I truly am sorry and I do have remorse." Victor Harry Fager makes our list at number 4 for his strange request at the death row. In 1960, Victor Harry Fager, a drifter from Michigan, arrived in Dubuque, Iowa. Upon arriving there, he rented a room and began calling doctors from the Yellow Pages. Dr. Edward Bartels answered his call, and Fager lured the doctor to his home on the pretense that a woman there needed medical attention. When Dr. Bartels arrived, Victor shot him in the head. A few days later, the doctor's body was found in a cornfield, and Fager was arrested while trying to sell the victim's car. He was charged with kidnap murder and sentenced to death. Fager was 28 years old when he was executed by hanging on 15th of March 1963. His last meal request was a strange and minimalist one: a single olive with the pit still in it. After his execution, the olive pit was found inside Fager's suit pocket, contributing to the popular belief that he intended to be buried alongside it, so that the olive tree symbolizing peace would sprout from his grave. At number 3, we have Lawrence Russell Brewer. Brewer was a white supremacist who already served time before being incarcerated again for violating his parole. Upon his return to prison, Brewer joined a white supremacist gang. On June 7, 1998, Brewer and 2 other gang members, John William King and Sean Allen Berry, committed the racially motivated murder of James Byrd Jr. Brewer showed no remorse for the monstrous act and was executed by lethal injection on September 21, 2011. For his last meal, he requested a meal that seriously sounds like a fast food menu. He demanded 2 chicken fried steaks and sliced onion dripping in gravy, a triple meat bacon cheeseburger with everything on the side, 1 cheese omelette with ground beef, tomatoes, onion, bell peppers and jalapeno. A big bowl of fried okra with ketchup. 1 pound of barbecued meat and half a loaf of white bread. 3 fajitas with all the toppings. A Pizza Hut meat lovers pizza. A pint of Bluebell vanilla ice cream. A slab of peanut butter fudge with crushed peanuts on top. And 3 root beers. However, when Brewer got the meal, he refused to eat any of it, claiming he was not hungry. That act angered the prison officials so much that they ended the 87-year-old tradition of last meals in Texas. Our number 2 goes to Philip Ray Workman. Philip Ray Workman was 28 years old when he shot and killed police officer Ronald Oliver while robbing a Wendy's restaurant in Memphis on August 5, 1981. Shortly after he was arrested, Workman was sentenced to death by lethal injection. For his last meal, Philip requested the prison to give a large vegetarian pizza to a homeless person in Nashville, declining his own meal. But prison officials denied his request and Workman refused to eat anything. But the request inspired people to bring hundreds of pizzas to homeless shelters on May 9, 2007, the day Workman was executed. Still insisting he was innocent, Workman's last words were, "I apologize for your loss and your pain, but I didn't kill those people. Hopefully, we will all learn something about ourselves and each other, and we will learn to stop the cycle of hate and vengeance and come to value what is really going on in this world. I forgive everyone for this process, which seems to be wrong." And finally, at number 1 and potentially the weirdest request ever recorded, we have James Edward Smith. On March 7, 1983, James Edward Smith shot and killed Larry Donruhas while robbing the Union Life Insurance Company. Smith was convicted of capital murder and was sentenced to death by lethal injection. It was his request for the last meal that had garnered him so much attention back in those days. For his last meal, Smith requested Rhea Kunda dirt, which is associated with voodoo rituals. He wanted to use it to mark his body so that his soul would move on and not stay on earth as a ghost. As dirt was not on the list of foods permitted by prison regulations, Smith's request was not granted, and on June 25, 1990, he received yogurt as his last meal. That's all for today's video. Hope you enjoyed it and thanks for watching.